Welcome to the Into the Astral Lands podcast. I'm Eric Malikyte, your host, and today I wanted to talk about Art Bell, the king of late-night conspiracy radio. You guys know, some of you at least, that he died last week. George Norrie, the current host of Coast to Coast AM, said in a statement, "Art was a legend, a radio icon who went against the grain and developed an amazing show. His impact on my life is beyond words. He will be missed, but I know he is now on another journey." But true to form, fans of the original Coast to Coast AM, or the Art Bell Show as it was originally titled, are starting to create conspiracy theories surrounding the death of Art Bell. Former radio host of C2C and Dreamland died at the age of 72 on Friday the 13th of all days. Now, is it strange that he died on the 13th? Maybe. There is a definite, I don't know if it's an urban legend, but perhaps that's the right word, that if you deal with these subjects, the dark things, UFOs, ghosts, demons, if you will, conspiracies, if you explore those topics, you might just end up paying the price at some point. We'll just have to wait for the autopsy results to come out. So far, I haven't heard anything, though. Now, of course, regardless of whether he died on the 13th or not, fans would be making rampant speculations as to the cause of his death anyway. And certainly I'm not one to believe such baseless theories, but after doing a little bit of research for this episode, there is the interesting fact that Art retired in 2015 after citing concerns for his family. Now, does that mean anything? I don't know. Probably not. But this episode really isn't about exploring the what would you say? What would you call it? The conspiracies and vitriol of the internet surrounding his fan base, and it's not about that. It's more of exploring Art Bell's impact on my life. As a kid, I was mesmerized anytime Coast to Coast came on the air, or I caught someone listening to it in my house. There was a kind of magic about his voice, and about discussing those strange topics in the middle of the night. Art retired in 2002, but he'd guest host from time to time, and I continued to listen, despite not really finding George Norrie that entertaining or that interesting to listen to. But the show never was the same after that, is basically what I'm saying. Besides my own experiences with the paranormal, his show, and maybe sightings, if you guys remember that one, and how it scared the living crap out of me as a child with tales of grays and alien abductions, that was sort of the starting point for my fascination with the unknown. It opened Pandora's box for me in a way, I guess. Now, some have said that Art Bell paved the way for whack jobs like Alex Jones to rule their particular audience and fill them with all kinds of unfounded conspiracy theories. And I can see that argument. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there is a certain tangent of people, a certain group of people that listen to shows like Coast to Coast that are just insane. They don't know what a fact is. They can't see that the show is mainly for entertainment purposes. Alex Jones is probably one of those people. I don't know if a man's ever been sane. I think there's always going to be people like Jones. And it's our duty as an informed society to recognize that and to do our own research rather than blindly following along with some radio jockey that thinks, despite what scientific evidence suggests, that we're turning the frogs gay in vaccines and I'll give you autism and Sandy Hook was faked, all that bullshit that he spews. I mean, Art Bell was not Alex Jones. He was not. I mean, I don't agree with everything that Art Bell has said in his time, but I had respect for him. And, I may not have agreed with all of his politics or maybe even some of his own personal conspiracy theories if he had any. He was always very tongue-in-cheek about the people that he had on Coast to Coast. I mean, he never made it out that these people were the real deal. There was always an air or an underlying tone of, this is fake, right? With some of it, at least. There was some hard science on Coast to Coast. Not much, mind you, but there was. I mean, Art Bell was classy. He gave us important questions about the unknown while simultaneously entertaining us with the wackiest of these conspiracy theories. And they are entertaining. I mean, besides my own hatred for people that believe that the earth is flat, and make no mistake, coast to coast popularity kind of made this a mainstream thing. They did. And it's irritating as fuck that these people exist. But, that goes without saying. I mean, Rick and Morty fans are terrible too. I'm a fan of Rick and Morty, and I don't like most Rick and Morty fans, or at least the ones that dance on counters screaming that they're Pickle Rick for Szechuan sauce, of all things. Any kind of fandom can get out of hand. Star Wars gets out of hand. And while this is very different, it's not a fictional property or anything like that. It does deal with fiction. These conspiracy theories, most of them at least, are fiction. They haven't been proven fact. So, I don't know. I feel that without Art Bell, I don't know if I'd ask, but what if? What's really out there? What's beyond what humans know? Because it really helped me to establish the idea that we are so small in this universe. We are a speck. The universe is big. It expanded my perception at a very important time when I was a kid. Kids don't think about this kind of stuff, and I wanted to think about this stuff. It created hunger. I'm not sure if I'd be who I am today without Art Bell. Now, I haven't listened to Coast AM in years, or really much of Art Bell's catalog after he left Coast to Coast. I've been interested from time to time to go back and listen to him. And especially now that he's gone, and maybe this is just an excuse, I'd like to spend some time, maybe when I'm at work, and listen to some Art Bell, listen to some of those shows, maybe get a few laughs out of it. I've kind of gotten out of listening to late night conspiracy radio, especially with the rise of people like Alex Jones. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was always for entertainment, or in the hopes that an episode or a topic might be a jumping off point for a short story or novel. I kind of miss that, but given my work schedule lately, it's never easy to catch Coast to Coast or anything else that runs late night. But I think Art Bell will truly be missed. Although, he did have a long life. He was 72 by the time he died, and while some people go much later, I mean, he made his mark on the world, at least in the at least on the fans of Coast to Coast AM, the 20 million at its peak people that tuned in to listen every night. And that's no small number right there. That's more than most TV shows in the 90s. That's a lot of people. I don't know if I'll ever have 20 million readers or 20 million people tuning in. Anyway, I think that's the end of this episode. If you like this podcast, if you like what I do here, go ahead and leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And make sure you hit that bell notification because YouTube is stupid. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/EricMalikyte, facebook.com/EricMalikyte to get all the news and upcoming short stories and things that I'm doing on my Patreon. If you're not a patron, head over to my Patreon. Check out the short stories I'm doing. I'm doing 1 to 2 short stories every month. And you can get access to all sorts of perks and rewards and stuff, like getting this podcast a week early than YouTube or SoundCloud. And that's pretty cool. You can also get, at the $5 level, you can also get short stories a week early as well. And that's patreon.com/EricMalikyte. MALIKYTE. The next short story is up. It's called Glitch. It's all about ancestor simulations. If you've ever wondered about ancestor simulations, this might be a fun story for you. It's nothing like super horrific or anything like that, but there is a underlying unsettling tone to it as well if you read closely into it, I think. But that's just my opinion. So go ahead and head over there, check that out, all that stuff. Once again, Eric Malikyte. I'll see you guys next time. This has been Into the Astral Lands, episode 3. Speaking of flat earthers, there was a guy who built his own rocket ship and launched himself into the atmosphere. He was 60 years old and he crashed and burned. He's still alive. I mean, these guys, these flat earthers, they're really resilient. They just won't die. I mean, I've known a couple flat earthers myself, and they're idiots. They're really, really stupid. Oh. Yep. Flat earthers. Apparently, he plans on doing it again. Maybe he'll get what he wants.